cool stuff in the works, trying to find some parts, make something happen there. You have no idea right now, but it's going to be great.
Wade is about to proceed to completely ruin a perfectly good, clean E36 M3.
All right, guys, it is maintenance time for the E36. We're doing full fluid change on this thing. Yes, there's a 2x4 holding up the hood because it can't go up any higher because it hits the lift hoist, and my struts are bad, so we're waiting on hood struts to come in. But we're going to go ahead and do oil and filter, trans fluid, we're going to do power steering fluid, we're going to do brake fluid, we're going to do diff fluid, we're going to do everything. We're going to change all the fluids, freshen everything up so I know what I got. Do brake fluid as well, I forgot about that one. And just change everything, freshen the car up and make sure it's up to my standard, make sure everything's good, all the fluids are fresh, and just make sure the car is going to be very good and reliable before we take it on a trip to the mountain, just anything in general. So I just want to make sure the car is good, reliable, all that good stuff. We might as well go ahead and change the plugs too, even though this guy changed them. It was probably about 15,000 miles ago. So I might just change the plugs just so I have peace of mind and I know what they're in, what is in it and all that good stuff. But let's dive into maintenance on this thing. I'll show you what we got. So what we have here is some liquid moly 540. It's just the moly gin blend. We're gonna put that in there, it'll be good stuff. Got a male filter. We got 7590 oil for the diff. We have oil for the trans. And we have some liquid moly power steering fluid, and Motul RBF 600 is going to go into the brakes. It is not here yet, so we're waiting on that. We also have a Blackstone oil analysis sample I'm going to send off. Give me like a good health check on the motor. Let me know what's going on inside. Let me know if there's anything I need to be concerned about before we dive into this thing and do some mods to it. Some cool stuff coming with Hindle and CES and all that stuff. Got some cool stuff in the works, trying to find some parts, make something happen there. You have no idea right now, but it's going to be great. But yeah, so we're gonna send the oil sample off just to kind of get inside the motor and let us know what's in there and what's going on with the motor. Let us know a health check. Excuse the oil back here, it's still draining. But here's everything you'll get in a little Blackstone kit. If you've never done this before, you'll get this little thing you have to fill out, put our information in here and all this good stuff. You get a little sticker if you want to keep track of your oil and stuff, put it on the window. I really don't like those, they're kind of in the way. Get this little like oil soaking rag so you can stick it on the outside, just like that. Take your oil sample, you fill it up, put it in your little baggie, and put it in the thing. You can always listen to the motor, and if like you can kind of hear if there's anything wrong with it, but you really don't know what's going on internally on the motor. It's always good to check this. It's kind of like when you go to the doctor and they check your blood in a sense. It lets them know how healthy you are. This is essentially the same thing. It's really cool they do this. It's super cheap. I think it's like $20, $25. It's well worth it, guys. Definitely if you haven't done it yet and you're just curious, it's something to do. It definitely wouldn't hurt unless you know something about your car you probably don't know.
Wade is about to proceed to completely ruin a perfectly good, clean E36 M3.
Just a little bit, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Not too bad. Actually, it looks pretty clean. Actually looks pretty clean, to be honest. It's really not that bad. This thing is splashing everywhere. Okay. Now that that is drained and out. Doesn't look bad. Didn't look too bad. But we're changing it anyway, regardless. Well, I guess that kind of looked bad. Dirty. I don't know. We'll see. All right, now we can go about changing the oil filter, little brass washer, and now I'm gonna grab the top, sit that right there. And take our oil filter. Now something you're gonna do right here, guys, you notice in your little oil filter kit, you get another O-ring, you get a super tiny O-ring, and you get another little washer. You just take a little pick and you're going to get this O-ring out of here. Just like that, put it in your box, throw it away. Then you have another little O-ring on the end of this. You're gonna do the same thing. And what you can do is like take and wipe all this excess oil out of here. Just like this. Just gonna fold it in a little corner. And just take and wipe some of this excess out. You don't have to, but I just always do. Put a little bit of oil on this O-ring before you put it on this bolt. And you'll just stretch it around like that, make sure it's got oil on it. Set that to the side, and you're kind of going to do the same thing with this one. Just make sure it's got oil all over it. Now, something I did want to show you guys. See how there's still like oil on the bottom of this? Not a lot, but there still is some. I like to take some blue, like the shop paper towels, and get all this oil out of here before I put the new oil filter in. Now, obviously, I can't get all the oil out, but I got 90% of the oil out of there, and it just makes me happier knowing there's not a lot of like old oil in there. What you can also do once you put your filter in is fill this up with oil if you really like to. Some people do, some people don't. It's kind of whatever you want to do. I'm going to fill it up with oil, so that way I know there's oil in here when I crank the car. Something I also wanted to mention, you can also take and rub some oil over your finger on these bottom O-rings on the bottom of this oil filter. It would not hurt at all. Not that they're not going to get any oil on them, but it just helps it seal properly. So you can definitely take some oil and just rub on the bottom and the top of this oil filter. Something else interesting here, I did not know this stuff was green. I mean, I guess because the bottle's green, but this is like literally green oil. So there's like some additive in here or something. I forgot what it says on the bottle, but I thought that was really cool. This is actually like really green oil. It's got the MFC additive in there. So for the friction stuff, new generation. I don't know, guys, pretty weird, but kind of cool. This oil is green. All right, guys, oil change is done. Trans fluid change is done. Everything is good here. We are ready to crank the car, get off the lift, all that good stuff. We went and checked out under all the suspension while I was under there. Everything seems solid. There's no like worn bushings or anything like I thought. I was pretty sure this thing was going to need control arms or something, but it actually doesn't. Sway bar mounts are good. All that stuff's good. Trans bushings are good. Actually really surprised there. So all that stuff is good. It makes me happy to see that. We are probably going to put a short shifter or something in this thing. Got to talk to Hindle on what he recommends and kind of go from there, guys. Just drive the car and enjoy it for right now until some more parts come in. All right, guys, so I got bored and wanted to put an intake on this thing. I had this laying around from the LS car, had a coupler laying around, had the filter laying around, and kind of just made my own here. It's pretty sturdy. It's in there. Really good. It looks freaking cool. It's carbon. It's got a nice AFE filter on the thing, dry flow, so all that good stuff's there. All I got to do is put a bolt and a nut through the back of this cruise control module, so it'll be sturdy because it was mounted to this factory air box. As you see, I've got cardboard in here right now because I do not want this thing to just suck air off this radiator hose and the fan blowing and all that stuff and just sucking that hot air. So I still want it to get the cool air from this little duct coming from the front of the motor over here. So what I'm doing is mocking up with cardboard about how I want to make my heat shield, and then I'm trying to think of a mounting point. I might be able to come off from the top right here. This is a little higher than it's going to be. I'll probably have this like slope down at a little angle like this and then come flush with the rad support. This is all just temporary until we get the kit from Hindle and everything, but for right now this looks pretty good and it's definitely better than it was before. So yeah, I was trying to mock this up, trying to figure out how I'm going to go about mounting the heat shield, because this is like pretty sturdy in there, but it's not really going to do anything because it's cardboard. So yeah, just mocking this up so I can put some metal in here, guys. Pretty freaking cool right now though. I don't know if you can see, I have a pencil mark on Dad's bench back here. So what I kind of did was take the cardboard in the shape that it was in, upside down. So what I did was take the cardboard in the shape that it came out of the car, which is just like this, and kind of traced it on this table, just like that. Set it to the side, and then I got my piece of metal right here. And what I did once I have this template is I took this metal, laid it right there, and I went ahead and bent it. And then I have it laid out so I can bend it again right here at this line, and that way it'll bend over and come right here. Then I'll cut it off flush, and we'll try to figure out how to mount it. Okay, so I apologize, I couldn't show you while I was bending it, but we went ahead and got this bent. Now this is all laid out on my template. I may have to tweak it a little bit for right now. We can go ahead and mark this and cut it flush. All right, so what I did was took the grinder right here and cut this thing in half. Now we have the general shape for our heat shield. We're gonna go ahead and set this in the car and mock it up real quick. Look at Beamer, shop dog. Hey buddy, say hello, say hello. You big old nose. Beamer is great. Okay, so we have some rubber here on the bottom to help align it and just make sure it doesn't rub anything raw. We have our one mounting screw put right there. I had to clean up this edge a little bit, put some more rubber on the top and go from there. This is kind of what it looks like right now, the general shape. Did the little cut down for the hood, and I think it's coming pretty freaking good. All right, so here's the first revision, or the first prototype you want to call it. We have rubber on here. We have everything bolted down. We have everything tightened as it should be. We're going to do our first test drive, see how everything works, and go from there. I did not want to cut this, but I couldn't make this bend after making the uphill, so I cut that, but I mean, it's fine. I have a little piece of foam in here so it doesn't rub the radiator on that little hose clamp. Then we have a little piece of foam right here so it doesn't rub the carbon raw. Everything is tight. It still has free range of movement if it wants to like wiggle a little bit. It's not like super tight. I did not screw into the intake. I screwed into something down there. So all of this is like really, really sturdy. The only thing I haven't done yet, like I said, I got to go put a bolt and a nut through here to tighten that cruise control module. But other than that, guys, we are good. And it looks pretty freaking solid for me to make this thing in like an hour. I'm pretty happy with this. Definitely have to put some heat tape. I have some on this back side, and I'll probably paint the other side black, like a little textured black coating, and call it a day for now. Okay, we have a bolt with a washer and a nut in the back side on both of these. It is very tight, sturdy, not going anywhere. I'm going to adjust my headlights because they were pointing at the ground. Then I adjust them too much and now they're pointing at the sky. So we're going to adjust those real quick and then go for a drive. The car is just like super cool to work on. Like, I don't know, I just really like this thing. Shout out to Hindle for helping get me involved in the E36s and sparking my interest, and Jesse with his little sick blue one. But it's just really cool to work on these things, guys. It's super easy. It brings back so many memories when I was a kid working on this thing in my garage. I just really enjoy it, and I'm thoroughly excited to see what comes with the car, what all we do to it and everything. And this is just the beginning, guys. I'm just super happy, super happy. Just a little E36. I know there's like E92 sitting in the garage and like, oh, you have E92, why are you messing with E36? Dude, the E36 is just so cool. I don't know, it just brings back memories. It's probably nostalgia, the reason I'm doing it. Plus, we're waiting on parts for the E92. The E92 is kind of like right now because we're waiting on coils, and then we're waiting for me to decide what brakes I'm going to do. E92 is kind of just like stagnant right now. It's just kind of waiting on me and waiting on parts essentially, so before we can do anything with that. Doesn't mean we can't drive it. Doesn't mean we can't enjoy it. We are still driving it, still enjoying it. But as far as like content for that right now, I don't really have a lot for you guys. We're just waiting on parts and then waiting on me to quit being indecisive and messing with the E36 and actually do stuff to it, because I've been so excited to do the E36 content. But nonetheless, everything is coming, guys. Super happy. I hope you're enjoying this E36 content as much as I am enjoying doing it. It is freaking awesome. It's just so cool to dive in and just start working on something again, have a little project to work on. Super cool.